Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack the code on career success by digging into the skills that never show up on a resume. We're exploring the unwritten rules of the workplace, and we're pulling all our insights from a really comprehensive professional development quiz.
Okay, so you've got the degree, you've mastered the technical skills, but what's the secret sauce? What really sets truly successful people apart? Well, it's often the subtle things, how you present yourself, the way you communicate, and the mindset you bring to work every single day.
So the big question is, how do we master these skills? Well, we've done the heavy lifting for you. We've distilled the key lessons from over 75 professional development questions into one powerful guide. Seriously, think of this as your playbook for thriving in any professional setting. All right, first up, winning that first impression. And look, this is so much more than just what's on your resume. We're talking about a judgment that's made in seconds, and it often starts long before you've even said a single word. It's a critical, unspoken part of your professional story. Let's start with a classic one that trips everybody up. What on earth do you wear to a job interview? It's a point of confusion for so many, but the source material we're digging into is incredibly clear. In a professional setting, especially an interview, there is a standard to follow. So why is that? Because it signals respect. It shows respect for the opportunity and for the people you're meeting. It tells them you take the role and yourself seriously. It's really the first and most visible sign of your professionalism.
Now, what's great here is how this breaks it all down into small, totally actionable details. It's not just about wearing a suit. It's about things we might not even think about, like making sure your socks match your trousers. It sounds small, right? But it's these little details that, when you combine them with sharp grooming and a tidy workspace, create a really powerful and cohesive professional image.
Okay, so you've nailed the visual first impression. You look the part. Awesome. But what happens the moment you open your mouth? Well, that brings us to our next topic, communicating with impact. Because once you look the part, you gotta sound the part too. At its very core, communication is just about sharing an idea. That's it. The word itself comes from the Latin word communis, which just means to share. It sounds so simple, but as we all know, sharing an idea so that it's perfectly received and understood, well, that's a true art form.
For communication to actually work, all three parts of this chain have to be in perfect harmony. Think about it. If the sender is unclear, or the message itself is muddled, or the receiver just isn't paying attention, the whole process just breaks down.
And this is absolutely brilliant because it shows you are always communicating, even when you're not speaking a word. Your body language, your eye contact, even your dress code, which we just covered, all of that is constantly sending these powerful nonverbal messages.
I love this piece of advice from Thomas Jefferson. Whether you're writing or speaking, your goal should always be to be clear, correct, and complete. Just be concise, don't waste your words, and definitely don't waste your listeners' time. So we've covered all the external signals you're sending out. Now we're going to move to the internal stuff, your mindset. Because how you think is truly the engine that determines how you act and what you can ultimately achieve. Think about it for a second. What is that force that gets you to start a new project or pushes you through a really difficult day at work? The source material points to one key psychological concept that powers literally everything you do.
And that force is, of course, motivation. But the really crucial point here is understanding that motivation isn't just some fleeting feeling you hope for. Nope, it's a psychological process. It is the why that drives every single action you take.
And according to the research, that process has three distinct parts. If your mindset is the engine we just talked about, think of these as the three gears that make it go. Let's break them down. First, there's activation. This is that initial spark. It's the moment you decide to enroll in that class, apply for that promotion, or, just finally begin the task you've been putting off.
Next up is persistence. And this is your grit. This is the continued effort you put in to reach a goal even when you face obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. This is where real progress is made.
And here's how you fuel that engine of persistence. A positive mindset isn't just some nice-to-have idea. It is a strategic advantage. It builds self-confidence, and it conserves the mental energy you need to overcome those challenges. Your individual skills are absolutely vital, for sure. But in today's world, career success almost always depends on how well you can work with other people. Collaboration is everything. Group discussions are a perfect test of teamwork. It's easy to contribute, but the real skill is contributing constructively.
Communicate from a place of knowledge and learn how to disagree without being disagreeable. You got to remember the ultimate goal. It's about finding the best idea for the group, not just about advancing your own ego.
All right, finally, let's talk about the skill that multiplies the effect of all the others: time management. This is all about working smarter, not just harder.
And the benefits here are just huge. This isn't just about getting more done at work. It's about being more effective, which leads to a much better work-life balance and a significant reduction in stress. It's really all about taking control of your day.
And you don't need some complicated system. The source points to really simple, effective tools. Use a calendar to plan your time. Use project trackers to manage your tasks. And remember what we said earlier? Keep your workspace organized. A clean desk really does lead to a clear mind. So there you have it. We've just walked through a complete toolkit for professional success, from your first impression all the way to your daily productivity. But the most important step, well, that's now yours. So which skill will you master first?